performance I have ever seen in my life.
Hello and welcome to Footy Flashbacks. Today we're delving way back to 1970 and one of the most famous games ever played, the 1970 Carlton-Collingwood Grand Final. The Pies were minor premiers and went into the decider buoyed after a 10-point win over the Blues in the second semi-final. Like it is now, the rivalry between these two clubs was incredibly fierce back in 1970, and a record crowd of 121,000 fans packed the MCG to see if Collingwood could break their 12-year drought or if Carlton could win their second flag in 3 years. To help us relive all the drama of the 1970 Grand Final, Neil Kearney caught up with two men who played key roles on that historic day 38 years ago.
Well, we've turned up here to chat to a couple of old footballers and instead found two highly tuned athletes, Ron Barassi and Des Tuddenham. Firstly, Ron, the bike, what's it all made of?
Well, we're going on a trip to Mongolia, Outer Mongolia in June on a bike, 450k thereabouts. So you've got to get your legs bike fit, and that's what this is about.
So you're doing plenty of Ks?
I am. Well, for me, I am, yes.
And Tuddy, you're reasonably doing a bit, aren't you?
Yeah, I do regular exercise. I enjoy it. Every morning I go to the gym and, I normally run at night in the soft sand for my knees. So, yeah, I enjoy it.
Are you going to ask him, Ron, or me, how many sit-ups he's doing?
How many sit-ups?
I normally do about 600 each morning.
Have you told Tom Hafey yet?
No, I haven't yet. I must tell him soon or I'll compete with him.
I reckon tomorrow morning Tom will be doing 601.
I reckon he would.
And you've also had a knee replacement, and yet you've just run a marathon.
Yeah, but it's okay. I take it slowly. I walk and jog. So I don't really push it too much. But I'm sure my surgeon wouldn't be too happy about that. But he says to me not to do too much more, Bartlett.
I think he would be very happy. This is more business than other ones coming up.
John Bartlett will be a busy man with blokes like Tuddy around. Now we're here to remember the 1970 Grand Final, probably the most famous in history. It
probably is
the birth of the modern game. That sort of stuff.
It's got that label, but I don't think one game would do that. But it was dramatic from the point of view of one team coming from behind.
121,696 people.
It's a big crowd. It was a big occasion because Carlton and Collingwood, they were a great rivalry then. And that game, well, it was a very important game. For Collingwood, they hadn't won a premiership since '58, and we were desperate. And of course, Carlton were playing well at the time too, Neil. So it was just an enormous crowd to play out in front of.
And Collingwood had beaten Carlton by 10 points in the second semi. Peter McKenna kicked 9.
Yeah, that's a huge score, and it looked like repeating it too by half time. I think he'd gotten up 5 goals in the grand final.
Yeah.
But he collided with some fellow teammate, didn't he?
Yeah, unfortunately, I went for Kevin Hall. I tried to put him out of business, and I missed Hall and got Peter.
Looking for McKenna and Hall. McKenna from behind. Tuddenham's there. He misses it, comes to the ground. Very ill. Goes to the ground once.
McKenna's down. McKenna's down behind play there.
He received a nasty one there, Mike.
You got him good though, Des.
Yeah, I did.
You must be pleased about that fact.
Oh, unfortunately, yeah, I wasn't really because he's one player we needed firing. He said he couldn't remember after half time, but we just needed Peter playing well. So he's just a great player. He converts so well when he got the ball too, which was amazing at half time. I think he kicked 5-4.
Yeah, a couple of shots there which were it wasn't like him, was it?
No, it wasn't. So really, when we went in half time, we kicked a lot of points. Had we kicked accurately, I'm sure we'd have been a lot more in front.
Well, that's a bad miss, Mike. And he looks very disgusted with himself.
Teddy, he didn't kick it, he tried to steer it.
Yes, he didn't follow the kick through.
Over the years, Des, would Peter have thanked you very often for that, little bump you gave him?
No, he never thanked me. But it was unfortunate that
was Ron
I didn't get. No, he hasn't.
Thanks.
We probably had a couple of injuries there. We had Wayne Wish was a bit sore and a couple others sore, but that's not excuses. It was just one of those things that happened in the great game. It was just incredible how they got back into the game.
Well, at half time it was 10 goals, 13 Collingwood to 4-5 Carlton. Did it feel like it was all over?
No, not at all. No, I had a game to play, and I think I always remember Robbie Rose saying at half time that had we kicked accurately, he said, like 10-13 was pretty bad kicking, and really probably been 10 10-6, we could have had another 6-7 goals on the board because we had complete control of the ball, Ron, in that first half.
Yeah, you absolutely did. I think I don't think we'd scored a goal till the second quarter. Early in the second quarter, we scored our first goal. But 44 points up at half time, I think that was the same figure about into the 9-minute mark of the second quarter. In other words, in the last, say, 20 minutes of the second quarter, it was equal on scores.
Yeah.
So I think that gave us a lot of heart.
Now, you're obviously living in luxury here. We are near your abode here on St Kilda Pier. That was a defining game, and one of the great halftime speeches, so we told, was yours at halftime in that match. But after this break, we're going to ask Ron, we're going to have a look at the third quarter, and we're going to ask Ron, what did he say to the Carlton players?
Umpire Don Jolly about to bounce the ball, starting the third quarter of the 1970 Victorian Football League Grand Final, Carlton and Collingwood. Collingwood well in command at this stage. The scoreboard reading, Collingwood 10-13 to Carlton 4-5. What will happen? Hopkins is on for Carlton and Thornley is off. Waite, who's at centre-half back, picks up now. He kicks wide out towards Jackson. Jackson can't get the run of the ball. Lee Adamson knocks it away from him. A chance here for Gould. Oh, Gould goes through like a train. A hand pass across here to David Mackay.
Oh!
Mackay steadies Nick going down behind play as Mackay gets his kick down towards centre-half forward. And there's a mark taken by Terry Waters, the Collingwood skipper. Waters now to the wing position. He's looking for Dean. Dean's under the ball and takes a mark. Plays on immediately. Dean now swinging in towards centre-half forward. Silvani's there for Carlton and takes a beautifully judged mark.
Under a lot of pressure there too. Hand passes to Crane. Crane from the wing position tackles solidly but gets his kick up towards the half-forward flank, and it'll be O'Callaghan's mark paid. Crowd felt that Croswell could have been given a free kick.
He may have tripped himself actually, Butch. There's a kick now. Jerker Jenkins comes in there for Collingwood, got his hands to it, but out it goes to Silvani. The old master, Sergio Silvani, down towards centre-half forward for Carlton. They fly high. Potter of Collingwood comes out with the ball. Potter into the centre of the MCG. Greening of Collingwood with it. Greening wide to the half-forward flank on the outer side. There's Tuddenham is on top of the ball. Gill is after him. Oh, Tuddenham finesses around. Gets his kick down here towards Britton. Britton's mark. Oh, Collingwood doing it on the bit at the moment. Ted Whitten, comment from you.
This is where I believe Collingwood should finish on top, Mike, particularly after the first break and after the second semi. There's his kick now up to McKenna, but from behind Paul punches away. It comes to the ground, picked up by Gallagher, the row before Carlton, looking downfield for a player to take possession. Cannell drops McLean, drops the mark, over to Gould. Gould runs around, has a left foot kick, but it's out of bounds on the full, and a free kick will go to Teddy Potter, the centre-half back for Collingwood.
Good play by Adamson there to force him wide to the boundary.
Under a lot of pressure, Carlton. Potter goes for the kick. The centre of the ground, centre-half forward. Jenkins, the Collingwood ruckman's in there. Step to the ground. Gould picks it up number 11. One-handed. Flashy football, but it's a big kick. Down to the half-forward line looking for Jesselenko. But it's Croswell at his mark. Croswell plays on. Gives the ball to Walls. Walls has a long shot for goal. Jones is there. Down to Teddy Hopkins, the 19th man. He stops for goal. And it's through. Put it through.
And it was Carlton's third quarter that put them right into business too, if you remember, in the second semi. Back in the centre, the bounce of the ball. Waters trying to pick it up, couldn't do so. Gould's got him.
It's holding the ball. Gould's free kick.
Oh, look at Carlton. They're playing on at every opportunity. Gould drives down. Jesselenko. Jesselenko's dropped it, but he butters up a left foot snap. This is going to go through or close to it. No, a mark. Hopkins again. Hopkins again.
Gee, that was good play on that kid's part. Ian Robertson gets the free kick and kicks up towards centre-half forward. Jenkins in good position. Oh, but beautiful mark to Walls right over the top of the pack.
Oh, Barassi's really stirred them up, hasn't he?
Well, it's their only hope, Michael. The last game of the year. This
Jesselenko couldn't get to it. Taken by Adamson. Adamson, a hand pass intercepted by Nichols. Nichols, a long hand pass towards Gallagher. But through they come. O'Callaghan is there. Jackson picks up for Carlton. Jackson, a left foot stop. Oh, he's got it through.
Beautiful goal by Jackson. Good football by Carlton in this quarter. They have reduced the lead by Collingwood. 10-14 to 7-5. Looks a little bit better from Carlton's point of view. And they They certainly are playing on, using the handball, possibly overdoing it, but trying to upset Collingwood's play on game. There's the bounce. Jones gets it down. Oh, pull from behind by Tuddenham. Or Brittle was. Free kick going to Teddy Hopkins, a rover for Carlton. Number 7 in the centre of the ground. Goes for the punt kick. Torpedo punt. Looking for Jezelenko. Clifton's from behind. Punches the ball. Heatkins comes through. Misses the ball. And Croswell. Umpire Jolly said it was too high. And will take the free kick.
Boy, are they coming back.
It would be 40 yards out of goal.
Don't tell me another one's going to slip away from the Maggies.
Croswell, number 17 on the half-forward flank. Umpire Jolly telling Collingwood players to get away from the mark. 10 yards distance they must be. He comes in with the drop punt, lines it up. It looks pretty good in transit, and it's right through the middle. There's another one to Carlton. What's that right before?
Carlton have kicked 4 goals in 7 minutes between the 2.5-minute mark and 9.5-minute mark in the third quarter. There's Silvani with the ball for Carlton. Silvani down towards centre-half forward. They fly high. Nobody able to pull it in. They butter up again, but Jackson comes out with it. Jackson a drop kick down forward. Big Nichols is there. The ball is knocked away. Tully comes in for Collingwood. Tully gets a hurried kick out towards the half-back flank on the member stand side. Dean comes out with the ball. Dean now a left foot snap. Oh, but it's a wild one, and Robert Walls again. Walls, a quick hand pass to Hopkins. Hopkins in a bit of trouble, but he shoots. He's put it through. That's his third.
It's his
Third play by Nichols there to let that ball drop through. And I can tell you, Carlton are really back in this. Ted, you said before they are reckless with their play on game, but it's the only thing to do in desperate circumstances.
10.5 minutes gone into the third quarter, and look at the scoreboard.
Free kick was for danger.
Quickly, over he goes to Ian Robertson. Robertson now for Carlton. Drives down towards the big ones. Nichols is there, taps it across very cleverly. They're after it. Robert Walls is in there. Walls now, a hand pass by him. Jackson comes through. Jackson unloaded. Jackson still going. Can't get his kick. He's still going. Through they come. Jezelenko in there. Potter picks up for Collingwood now. And Potter drives out. He's looking for Waters. And they're out of that one. Boy, oh boy. Butch Gale.
Terrific play. In towards Price in the centre. Big Jones comes through. Knocks the ball away. Crane, Price. Crane underneath it and gets a three. And the player unloaded there. There's a kick in towards centre half forward. Again, Robert Walls' mark. Great play by Carlton. He steps around Potter. Races into an open goal. A long shot.
There's another one.
Oh boy.
Good football, Carlton. There's a throw it in the forward pocket. Boundary umpire.
Eakins reckoned that went out on the full, but he couldn't fool the umpire. In goes Jenkins, hits down. Hopkins has it. He tries to scramble the ball. Jezelenko shoots.
Oh, look at this.
There's another one. There's the 7th. There's a complete reversal of ball by Carlton. That's complacency set in with Collingwood.
They've kicked 7 goals, Teddy. Carlton have kicked 7 goals in 10.5 minutes.
Well, this is what the public want.
3 points to difference.
Welcome back to our flashback to the 1970 Grand Final. It's three-quarter time and Carlton have more than halved the 44-point half-time deficit. It's still debated today what Ron Barassi actually said to the Blues at the main break. Well, here's our chance to find out what really happened in the Carlton rooms to inspire the Carlton revival.
Well, Collingwood up by 17 points at three-quarter time. Ron, what did you say to the Carlton players at half-time?
Oh, that's... Well, if you listen to Alex Jezelenko's reply to that same question at my birthday or 50 years in football gig at the MCG, he was asked, well, what did Barassi say? He said, he didn't say much.
And 44 points down at half-time was gettable?
Well, we thought that, yes, because we also thought that most of our opposition teams that year or in that period we had good last quarters for because we were very running fit and the opposition weren't quite as running fit, we didn't think. And we had some good players, by the way.
You did have some good players, didn't they? There's some cracking players. But Desi, did you feel the change?
I always Ron talk about fitness, and I felt that probably over the years at Collingwood we could have been fitter collectively. And probably that was a concern. You know, we had to keep running, and players may not have had to run in their legs.
Some blokes weren't fit enough individually, or the group wasn't fit enough?
As a group wasn't fit enough.
Not enough run?
No, I didn't think so. You know, that's not saying that against Bob Rose. I've always said that all the way through when I was playing Collingwood. We could have been fitter, you know.
Were you still 17 points up at three-quarter time?
Yeah,
still there to be won,
still
isn't
to
it?
be won. Oh, for sure. We weren't over the line then. You know, Carlton would come back into and getting confidence back, and their players are playing bad early. We're coming back into the game.
In the forward pocket for Carlton on the member stand side. Wait for the throw in. The big men come in. Jenkins goes up there with John Nichols. Clifton comes through. Couldn't get away with it. Nichols gets it over to Robert Walls. Walls hooks it around. This is close. Touch through.
Right, gee, it was close.
Well, touch through. One behind.
Well done, Peter Eakins.
Right, gee, that was close. I agree.
Left
Goal
now.
umpire having a talk to Robert Walls.
Look, honestly, I think they're taking a little bit too much time, Collingwood. They're giving Carlton a chance to get back into this. Should hurry it on. Now,
Hello,
Clifton
what's going on here?
having another word to Walls.
Walls disputed the goal umpire's decision. The goal umpire spoke to him, and also the field umpire. As Clifton comes out, kicks the ball to the outer side flank. Underneath it is Jenkins and Jones has been paid the mark. 2 bites at the cherry.
I've got a terrible feeling, Teddy, you know.
You think they can come back with?
Yes.
They're taking their time with the ball, as you mentioned. There comes Jones now. It's a big kick, torpedo punt high. Walls is underneath. Nichols from behind. And Nichols has pumped in another one. 15, 20 yards out of goal. He's the bogey man now. They can get the ball down forward quickly. Nick has already kicked one in this quarter, buttering up for his second. Runs in. See what he can do with it. He kicks, steers it right through the middle. There's no worries about that.
8 points the difference. 8 points the difference now only in favour of Collingwood. And we are 11 minutes into the final quarter.
Well, what are you going to say about it?
Oh, it's a really game,
They
Teddy.
kicked 7 and 11 minutes in the third. Can they do it again?
Well, they're certainly playing better than Collingwood at the moment, purely and simply because Collingwood are definitely not playing on quickly enough. If they do it and do it now, well, they could hold this game. But if they let Carlton get close, I'll tell you what, Carlton would be the toughest side to get in front of. They get the lead.
They wouldn't need to be much closer, boy. 8 points the difference. Bounce of the ball. There they go. Jenkins gets it. It goes to Terry Waters. Waters down here towards McKenna. Kevin Hall backing back. No, here's a chance. Tuddenham comes in there. The ball is pushed away. Thompson's there also. But it's Carlton getting out of trouble. Croswell pushes the ball in front of him.
Croswell holding the man.
Croswell on the back line as he played well. Looks like Chandler's coming on for Carlton too. Now there's a kick from Croswell to the wing position on the member stand side. They fly high, no mark down to the ground. Pennell comes through here for Carlton. Pennell tries a hand pass, but it doesn't come off.
Ball.
Holding the ball, close to take it. Slap bang on the wing
Collingwood player
position.
down on the centre wing, Greening. And looks bad too.
Chandler's on, Gould off. Chandler on for Carlton, Gould off. The kick down forward now for Collingwood. Thompson at the back of the pack. But it's Mackay once again taking a towering mark. Greening cramp, obviously. Mackay now tries one in towards the centre. It doesn't come off. Here's a chance, but it's Waite there with the ball. Waite, a long hand pass across here. Taken by Crane. Crane of Carlton. But it's passed over here to Max Richardson of Collingwood. Down forward it goes. And Hall comes out with the speed of a train. Kevin Hall of Carlton into the centre. The ball taken by Lee Adamson of Collingwood. In a bit of trouble. He gets his kick downfield. And Jones is marking the fence for Carlton.
Oh, tremendous stuff, this.
Jones now back in towards the centre. Jesselenko flew up a mile. Potter trying to come out with the ball. Jesselenko gets it out the crane of Carlton.
No
free
doubt
kick.
he threw it.
He threw it. Umpire Jolly right in control there. No good going from you supporters. He was 15 yards away from the incident.
13 and a half minutes gone of the final quarter. 8 points the difference in favour of Collingwood.
Greening will come off and Ricky Watt will come on. A replacement.
Wayne Richardson with the ball over there on the outer side.
Taking too much time.
His kick. The players set themselves. Oh, Thompson's in trouble there. He's buffeted around. Out comes Ian Robertson with the ball. Here's a
Free kick.
Robertson barres up.
Dunn will get the free kick here. That's centre half forward.
Kick in danger against Carlton.
Oh, nearly a 15-yard penalty too. Look at this.
Tully's off. Now Twiggy Dunn, who's played a magnificent game. He's kicked 2 goals, or he's a long way out. He'll have to kick this down near 70 yards. Down to the Richmond end. It's on its way. It's well offline. Look who's waiting there. Mackay to take the defensive mark for the Blues. A hand pass by Mackay. Oh, this is trouble. Tubman comes through there. The ball held on to him, I think. No. It's called holding the ball. I think the ball was held on to him, to be truthful.
Oh, this is risky stuff.
Toss it goes to Mackay. Mackay out of further afield. No mark, however. Through comes Wade. A hand pass to Silvani. Silvani back here to Wade. Wade tries to brush him off. He does so. Over comes here towards Ian Robertson of Carlton. Robertson of Carlton now goes for the bounce. He sets himself. He gets away. Carlton going forward. Robertson to Hopkins. Hopkins now steadies. Hopkins down forward. It's over Jesselenko's head. And Eakins marks in defence.
Very tired footballers out there at the moment. Jenkins hits down and it's taken by Gallagher. Popped over towards Jackson! Jackson from behind Adamson took the mark. Now he's at least 70 yards out. More. Nichols calling for it high into the square. Eakins and Nichols, up they go, and Eakins taps it, touches it through for 1 point.
17 minutes of the final quarter gone of the 1970 grand final, and look at that scoreboard.
7 points the difference. You wouldn't believe.
Clifton kicking out from the scoreboard end. Comes along the member stand flank. The boys move in. Ian Robertson. Oh, he's paying it. I think he should.
Oh, he has to.
Pay the mark.
No disagreement from our commentary position here.
Move the ball on.
Collingwood getting worried. Will another one slip out of their clutches? A glorious kick by Ian Robertson to the goal square. Knocked away by Wallace. Right across. O'Callaghan of Collingwood with the ball. O'Callaghan going for a run. Puts his boot into it. Gee, Lachlan Collingwood's way then. The now comes from O'Care. Given to Hopkins. Hopkins down to centre half forward. They all fly for it. Sergio Silvani comes through. Through comes Wayne Richardson. Gets it to brother Max Richardson. Down towards centre half forward for Collingwood. No mark, however. Whoa, and over they go. Picked up by Waite, almost picked up by Waite. Waite of Carlton still going, he's grabbed by Britt. And the ball goes across here to Kevin Hall. Kevin Hall up towards centre half forward for Carlton. Plenty of Collingwood players there. But the ball goes to Robertson. He can't handle it. Silvani dives on top of it. Silvani gets it across here. Putnam comes through. Can't go anywhere. O'Callaghan into the centre. Taken by Price. Price down forward. McKenna and Hall over the Britt. With the left footer, McKenna. Crossball pushes it over the boundary line. There'll be a throw-in in the forward pocket for Collingwood on the member stand side. I'm just about gone.
It's a wild finish, I'll tell you. He's put the whistle away, Jolly, to Jenkins. Leant on the player there, but hit it down. It's all Carlton in his back line. Where are Collingwood's forwards? The kick long and deep out towards centre wing. Crane racing for it with Dean. Dean gets the advantage now. He's tired, though. Gets around on the left foot. Well done, son. And the kick in towards centre half forward. No mark. Yes, it's right. Wait was marked at centre half back, and they're weary, these fellas, I can tell you.
Wouldn't you be, Butch?
Oh, this has been a tremendous pressure game. 7 points the difference, and Carlton need to attack again. Waters from behind dropped it. Chance there for Adamson, but it's snapped up by Crane. He goes in towards centre half forward. Nichols racing for it. So too is Wayne Richardson. He's shouldered aside. Silvani gets it. Slopes over. Eakins over the top of him. Eakins still in trouble, but still managing to struggle the ball. Clifton taps it over the line for a throw in.
Well umpire Don Jolly, he's letting it all go, and this is what the crowd want to see. He's playing the obvious free kicks. There's the tap down now by Thompson. Thompson to Wayne Richardson, but coming in here is Ricky Watt to the left boot, to the half forward line. Greeny, Gills there, nobody marks. Coming through is Mackay. Mackay caught in possession.
Holding the ball.
And will be played against him. Going to Johnny Greeny, the Collingwood wingman, number 22.
And 120,000 people go mad. Going on towards 19 and a half minutes of the final quarter. Can Collingwood hang on? Will Carlton get up? Jones across to Barry Gill. Gill now close to the boundary line. It's over on the full.
I know this handball's got him back in the game, Mike, but
He's
they're
got to
overdoing
take
it.
Greening off here, Mike. He can't run.
Well, you wouldn't doubt the courage of any one of those players out there.
Oh! Oh!
Kick to be taken by Ricky Watt, who came on, replacing Colin Tully. Watt now will drive this deep down into the forward zone. There's his kick. It's a nice one too. The players move in. Big Jenkins from behind. David Mackay was spoiled by his own man. He goes to come through. His grab. Picked up by Jenkins. He can't go anywhere. Crane comes through. But a free kick is going to Crosswell or Mackay. Crosswell of Carlton. He takes his kick. Oh, it's a nice one too. Up towards centre half forward. The players sit themselves. Terry Waters went up. But Eakins comes out with it. Kick swallowed by Jackson. Jackson goes after it now. Look at this fella go. Jackson a long hand pass to Hopkins. Hopkins steadies. Hopkins kicks. He's put it through. It's 4 goals to Hopkins.
And it's only a point the difference.
1 point the difference.
We'll be back next week.
Oh, Michael.
What a face.
This could be a draw.
How long have they been going, Mike?
Almost 21 minutes. Almost 21 minutes into the final quarter. Don Jolly bounces the ball. Up they go. The ball, Thompson's in the ruck there. Dean comes through. He's in a lot of trouble, but eventually gets out. Kicks down forward. Up they go. No mark. McKenna's there. Jenkins comes out with it. Jenkins goes over. Kick off the ground by Pennell. And Pennell has put it over the boundary line in the forward pocket for Collingwood on that outer side.
And he's hurt himself too.
Boy, oh boy.
Cramp. They're going down like 9 pins here.
$1.40
The throw-in
to see
takes
this.
place. Jenkins gets a tap down and goes to Crosswell. Crosswell a long hand pass out here. Oh, Dean's unloaded by Waite of Carlton. Waite picks up, tries a short one up towards Crane of Carlton. He's chased by Price. They both go over. The ball's in play, taken by Chandler. Chandler of Carlton up to the half-forward flank on the outer side. Through comes Potter of Collingwood. Potter steadies, gets a hurried kick back towards the wing position on that outer side. And Twiggy Dunn has marked.
Oh, he's been a hero today. Look at that hand pass now. Nicely to Price. Price boots a long one in towards the full forward area. Oh, Collingwood player pushed him back. Up the mark allowed to Mackay.
Whoa!
Mackay now shorts one out to Peter Jones, and he's got it and plays on. Oh, this is dangerous for Collingwood. It's only a point the difference, and they're in front.
Jesselenko!
And away they go. Jesselenko plays on with the ball. Kicks it high. Robbie Walls is there. Comes to the ground. Kicked off the ground by Collingwood. Out of bounds in the forward pocket. 1 point the difference.
Time, Michael.
22 and a half minutes coming up. 22 and a half minutes coming up on the 1970 grand final at the MCG. There they go. Jackson comes through. Jackson's after Tottenham's after him. Jackson snaps it around. Eakins has marked. Was he inside the boundary line? Doesn't really matter.
Outside on the ball.
He'll still get the kick. Peter Eakins of Collingwood. They go along the outer flank there, 120,000 people or more. Up they go. Crosswell from behind, couldn't pull it down. But Crosswell batters up. Tudman's after him. Crosswell tries to punch the ball away, puts it over the boundary line on the half-forward flank for Carlton on that outer side. The last half, it's been Carlton coming back from the depths of despair. What a great job all these boys have done. Nichols gets a tap down. Twiggy done. There'll be another ball up. Another ball up, still on that half-forward flank for Carlton on the outer side. There's the bounce. Big Nichols is there. Dunn goes with him. Dunn gets a tap down. Collingwood Rovers, where are they? Lee Adamson dives on top of the ball. There could be another ball up.
They're dog-tired, every one of them.
They're doing it from memory, these boys. Up they go. Dean just takes it in the pack. But the free kick is going to Nichols of Carlton. Nichols. Oh, he's a long way out. Would want to kick this 80 yards.
Oh, he couldn't get the distance.
Well, you wouldn't think so.
He's going to give it a hell of a try.
My word, he is, Teddy. Big John, a great player, puts his boot into it. Oh, it's gone across the face of goals. Up they go. Crosswell from behind. Playing as a call. The ball driven out of danger. But Sergio Silvani for Carlton comes through. Silvani drives down forward. It's almost in the goal square. No mark. Lee Adamson of Collingwood comes out. Tries a hand pass. Jesselenko's there. Jesselenko hooks it around across the face of goals. They're racing after it, but over the line she goes. In Carlton's forward pocket on the outer side. Wait for the throw-in. There it goes. Dunn and Nichols. Nichols knocks it away. Who'll get the ball? Waters of Collingwood's after it. He runs into trouble. Could be a ball up.
Oh,
Crosswell with it. Crosswell's kicked one. He's only 40 yards out. If that, 35 to 40 yards out. On a slight angle. Brent Crosswell. It's on its way. It looks pretty good. Carlton in front. It's a goal. Carlton in front.
Oh, what a finish.
And we're into time on.
Can the Magpies come back?
We're into time on. 25 minutes gone.
Oh, look at this. There's runners running everywhere. Players have lifted themselves again everywhere.
There they go, the bounce of the ball. Jones gets the knock away. Through they come. Waiter's there. He runs into trouble. A chance for Britt to pick up. Crosswell's after him. Britt is bundled over and Britt gets the free kick.
Hurd is on for Collingwood.
Hurd is on.
Greening off.
Right, Britt takes his kick down forward. They move in for it. Up they go. Ah, yes. Mulcair, 2 bites, and he's taken the mark. The kick now goes into the centre of the MCG, over the centre. The players set themselves and Jenkins is marked for Collingwood. Oh, don't do it. Jenkins now goes wide. He's out there looking for Dean, and Dean is marked for Collingwood. Don't tell me Rosie's going to go down again so closely. What a fight back by the Blues. Dean now, a long one down forward. They come out to meet it. Oh, Robertson got the mark. But he gets away with it, Ian Robertson. Ian Robertson kicks to the half-back flank on the member stand side now. They're racing for it. Pennell can't get the run of the ball. Britt is after him. Over the line they go. There'll be a throw-in.
Oh, are they tired, mate?
A throw in on the half-forward flank for Collingwood on the member stand side. Big Hurd comes in there. Ball taken by Gill. He gets it across to Jones. Jones of Carlton up to the wing position. Oh, mark. A chance for Wayne Richardson. He picks up a short one. Yes. Price is marked for Collingwood. Now Price of Collingwood steadying down. He's going for the lead from McKenna. McKenna goes up. He's playing it.
Play on.
Oh, play on. Play on is the call. Up towards centre half forward for Carlton now. Through comes Jesselenko. Jesselenko, a left footer. There's nobody there.
Look at this.
It's bounced through.
You wouldn't believe this, honestly. That's Jesselenko's 3rd goal. And Collingwood players holding hands to their head as the time is getting away from them now.
Oh, you wouldn't see anything better anywhere in the world, Butch, as far as excitements and highlights and tremendous sportsmen are concerned.
27 and a half minutes gone. Butch go.
Ricky Watt with the ball in the centre of the ground. Is there time? McKenna comes out. Hall punches away. A grand finish by Hall. Britt in there working hard, surrounded by Carlton players. Oh, they're just too disciplined. The kick going up to the flank. And O'Callaghan drops the mark. He plays on again. Shorts one into the centre. Price has it. He plays on. He's in trouble. Right across the centre. Still looking desperately for McKenna. A chance for Twiggy Dunn. No mark. Oh, beautiful mark. Oh, what a great finish. Boy, these fellas have got hearts as big as themselves.
You can say that again, Butch. What's the 28 minutes, Mike?
There's Mackay's kick in towards the centre wing now. Up goes Jenkins. No mark. Look at that. Players hurt. Down it comes to Wayne Richardson. He gets a left foot kick in towards full forward again. Players are surrounded there. Comes down onto the ground and it's a free kick to Dunn.
28 and a half minutes gone in the final quarter of the 1970 grand final. Carlton have come from a mile behind. No other way to describe it.
You wouldn't want to have a crook heart, would you?
Twiggy Dunn has kicked 2 goals. And he would be 40 yards out, directly in front. He kicks. Oh, it's swinging off. But it's there. 1 point. 1 point.
It's all over for Magpies again, Mike. There's no worries in the world about that now. They just haven't got the time.
Taking time to kick in again now. They're looking for Rassi still desperately worried about this. But I wouldn't be worried if I was him. Down to Crane. His kick up towards the half-forward flank. Adamson and Jackson. Jackson racing for it. Adamson beats him to it this time. Jackson pulls him to the ground and the ball goes over for a throw-in.
Free kick going to Adamson.
Sorry, Adamson's free.
29 and a half minutes gone.
Oh, it's got to go any second, Michael. Half a minute to play, I reckon.
Fantastic. There's the kick now down to the half-forward flank The mark to Gallagher. There's the siren. Carlton are premiers, and look at Wanderers. He's surrounded. Carlton are premiers, and our commiserations to Bob Rose of Collingwood. It's happened again to him, and nobody could be sorrier for Bob Rose than the three of us up here. It's all over. Yes, Carlton got up in the dying stages. While Butch Gale, a fantastic comeback. They were gone to the world at half-time, but they kicked 7 goals in 10 and a half minutes in the third quarter, and Carlton have won the grand final of 1970 here on the MCG. But we have a look at that scoreboard. 14-17, 101 Collingwood. Carlton 17-9, 111.
And after that, the game of football just kept getting faster. Ron Barassi, that was the start of the game we know now.
Well, handball was gradually coming into the game before that, but the 70 grand final and the handball used got a lot of headlines, got a lot of talk about football, so it highlighted the thing, but it was already happening. It was happening ever since Len Smith talked about handball, man running past. He didn't worry about whether short kicks were in the defence or in forward or where handballs would run. His whole theme was the guy with the ball is attacking. If he happens to be in defence, he's still attacking because he's the man in control of the game. He's got the ball. That's all we aim to get the ball and do something. So it began back then, but it's been given a lot of kudos.
There's, I feel you're a good sport doing this because I feel like a saddest asking, but which hurt more, the 64, the 66 or 70?
They all hurt. I don't think probably. I think 66 when you're captain. I think that you're going to hold the cup up and it's going to mean so much to you as the captain of the club first year. And 70, of course. Well, I wasn't captain that year. Cherry was captain. Probably responsibility wasn't as much on me as had been in other games. But obviously hurt in 70 because it was we were in a position which we'd never lost it. And when you lose a game, I hate losing, and to lose a game in that situation, the way Carlton came back and got on top of us, and it must have been very, very bad for our supporters. And I know raising the club, it was just demoralising to lose the game with that far in front, Neil.
Bob Rose.
Well, I watched the 70 grand final just recently. At the finish, Bob is there and he just looks so sad and lonely. And my heart went out to him, and I'm not kidding there because I've been a fan of his all of our footy lives together, not just as a footballer, but as a person. He was just a fantastic guy, and see someone hurt like that, well, it was touching. I was quite surprisingly emotional about it, and he could not ask for a name in football with worse luck as a coach. I mean, 4 times, wasn't it? You had
three times.
3 times, so close. I mean,
only kick each time, Ron.
Yes, that is really bad luck.
It's got to affect you, doesn't it?
Well, he rose above all that.
He was a gentleman to his last, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. To use a pun, he rose above that.
He's a great player too, like in his career, and a fantastic player, and the guts and courage, and he's such a gentle guy too. I think probably Ron probably had more devil, more inspirational, and maybe a bit more meaningful in going at players, whereas Bobby wouldn't go quite as hard, which unfortunately was his makeup. But had he gone in harder at him, I'm sure he may have got a bit better result.
Left that for the boxing ring.
Yeah, of course he did. Yeah, he did.
Well, the other guy for whom that grand final, I guess, will always be remembered was Jesselenko, you beauty.
Jesselenko, you beauty. Yes, I always thought the mark, not always, but for many years thought the mark was in the last quarter, but it was just before half times. And of course,
I thought it was in the third quarter.
Yeah. The remark by Mike Williamson.
Yeah.
Jesselenko, you beauty. I mean, it's legion.
Oh, Jesselenko, you beauty! Good Lord. Alex Jesselenko. Bringing oxygen.
Can you say it through gritted teeth there, Desi?
Oh, it was just a great mark.
Jesselenko, you beauty.
You beauty, Jez. It was really it was a fantastic mark.
I've seen him do better than that, by the way.
A lot's happened in your life since the 1970 grand final.
My word, it has been.
Is it a big part of your life now?
Football is, yeah. I still enjoy going to games, and I'm a little involved at the moment with Collingwood. I look after Harry O'Brien and a couple of boys that So it's interesting, football to me, I love it. The game's changed, but it's still good to watch.
And Ron, football's still a very big part of you, and you're a big part of football. Some would say the biggest part.
No, not. It can't be so because I'm not involved with a club. I have got no post with a club because I don't want any. I'm too old for that. I've got other interests to look out for now.
Politically, by the look of it.
No, I've been to China. That's all that is.
I thought you might have switched parties.
Hey, this bloke's red. So what are you saying, that the Labor Party are red?
I think we'll end it here. Ron, I'm very, very grateful to you. Des, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Nice to remember the grand final.
I'm glad Neil asked about that shirt, but it's good to see a smile on Des Tuddenham's face. The 10-point loss clearly still a painful memory for the Magpies. Well, it remains the greatest grand final comeback in history, with Carlton overcoming a 44-point half-time deficit. It was Collingwood's third heartbreaking loss in a grand final in 7 years, and it would take them 20 years before they finally won another flag. As a result, a new name in footy was born. You guessed it, the Collywobbles. Well, that's Footy Flashbacks for this week. But a reminder, you can get a copy of your favourite game from the current or previous seasons at sportsdelivered.com, where you can get more information and then order your DVD online. The 1970 Grand Final is a game not to be forgotten. And we'll remember another great game in history next time we go back in time for another Footy Flashback.
There's the